Now, Pakistan raking up the Kashmir issue at the United Nations General Assembly has elicited strong response from politicians and diplomats across in India. Managing editor of TV Today Network Rahul Kanwal spoke with Siddharth, Nath, Singh, Shashi Tharoor and Nehchal, Sandhu over in New York on this issue.
Come to Mr. Sandhu first. The word plebiscite used in a UNG assembly after quite some time. What's your sense of how India must respond to this, sir?
Well, the people of Kashmir have more than adequately responded to this in the last decade plus. Every time we've had elections for the Legislative Assembly or the Panchayats, there's been enthusiastic participation of more than 60% people. And you've had the fullest possible democratic representation. That is the best way in which we can judge what the people stand for. They stand by our constitution, they stand by our systems, they're happy to elect people to the assembly and proceed the way they should.
Dr. Tharoor, for the last couple of years at least, plebiscite hasn't been on the table here in New York. When was the last time you remember a Pakistani head of state using the word plebiscite, and what do you think India's response should be?
Well, I mean, we've taken the position for quite some years now that this is completely out of date. That, a resolution passed way back in the early 1950s has simply ceased to have any meaning when, as Nehchal was saying, we've had so many free elections in Kashmir where the people have been able to, in effect, conduct their own plebiscite about who should represent them, who should rule them, how do we actually determine their political destiny. So in those circumstances, to harp back on that is quite ridiculous. And if, as I believe Nawaz Sharif said to the Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, that the idea of the plebiscite is something that India has promised, well, India can certainly say that promise is long off the table. In fact, when I was at the United Nations, Kofi Annan actually publicly said that these resolutions are not self-executing and we have to now look to what the two countries can agree on in future. I think that the issue of raising Kashmir in the Prime Minister's speech or whoever the head of the Pakistani delegation is, this time it's Nawaz Sharif, that is something that has been like a tap that's turned on and off over the last 10-15 years. You'll see every time they want to signal a desire to make peace and be friendly, they don't mention the issue and they signal to us that we should listen. In fact, I remember Musharraf actually conveying a signal to Manmohan Singh ji early on when they were beginning their dialogue that he would not be mentioning Kashmir either in his press conference or in his speech. And we got that signal and we in turn were extremely responsive in the response by the Prime Minister. When they want to be tough or they want to be belligerent or they feel they've been provoked by anything, then they put it in just to needle us. And we will of course reply in kind. To be honest, there's some aspects of diplomacy that almost seem like childish behavior, but that is unfortunately the thing. They have said it. If we don't react, our media, like you guys, will not let the government have any peace, so we will react.
You're saying Pakistan is being belligerent, provocative and childish all at the same time, Siddharth, Nath, but they're also blaming your government for having called off Foreign Secretary level talks, saying we are disappointed with the cancellation of the Foreign Secretary level dialogues. Our government's aspiration, that's the Pakistan government's aspiration, was to build a peaceful neighborhood. They're blaming Modi and you.
Well, we gave them an opportunity and that was praised by global powers. When we gave them an option, they came. There were certain red lines which were drawn, and in that red lines, certainly the cross-border firing, LOC violation, and also the meetings with the Hurriyat. So they crossed the line. Now they lost that opportunity, and now the onus lies with them rather than with India.